What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone we got Alex of Voodoo Gods. Thank you for your time today, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the support.
It's so awesome to have you here. The Divinity of Blood, I was just listening to it. It's absolutely awesome. Do you just want to give like a rundown on how the making of this record was and the recording and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, sure. Man, after we released the Anticipation for Blood, Level in Darkness, I was just, constantly, I constantly write new songs. So, the other album went pretty good, and I started recording new stuff. Plus, we changed the guitar player, and we have a certain routine. And mostly I start, since I have all the songs already in my head, I don't need like a guide guitar on it. Mm-hmm. So I can just lay down the drums. And once that is done, I get in touch with Hero. So he comes over. Since I can't play guitar, so I have to show him all the songs on the piano or with my mouth. And he's one of the only guitarists actually can understand my jibber jabber and put it in a riff. And, once we do that, we do like an extra demo for the bass player, because it's really hard for him to hear the metal thing, and from there on, just record vocals, and then it's pretty much like any other band,
Yeah. Do you consider this just picking up where you left off after Anticipation for Blood Leveled in Darkness, or do you think that the Divinity of Blood is almost kind of like a standout, like a new start for Voodoo Gods in a way?
It is most definitely a new start, because in my opinion, we gained a lot of more musicality with Victor, and we are just able to do so much more musical, from the musical perspective. And another thing we realized, we didn't know what Gene is all capable to do on his bass. And on this record, you can hear, not even in the mix, you can hear pretty much everywhere in the whole record, that we left him a lot of space to do his thing. And it worked out really good, I think.
That's awesome. Being that this is like I call it like the death metal supergroup, almost really like basically was the idea to maybe like obviously Nurgle from Behemoth was on the Shrunken Head EP, but you also have Corpse Grinder now with it. Is like maybe the idea to kind of like combine all your past experiences into one project, or are you guys trying to do something? Not at all.
Not at all. Voodoo Gods was born as Shrunken Head, and back in the days, I was living with the guys from Monstrosity in one house. So I founded the band, just me and Tony Norman. And he was back in the days in Monstrosity, and I was just living there. So during the day when he was not doing things with Monstrosity, because Lee from Monstrosity, he had a daytime job. And we were just, playing music all day. And then we decided we're gonna need a vocalist, and Gene from Angel Corpse gave us a CD and said, "Oh, listen, this guy's fucking phenomenal, and I'm gonna distribute them here in the US." He had a small record label, and that was Centurion. So that was the first time I heard Seth on vocals, and I was like, "Okay, this guy has to join us. This is perfect." And we were still named Shrunkenhead. We were not yet Voodoo Gods. And the main thing, once I read his name, because I didn't even know who the fuck that singer was in Centurion, and I read his name, I was like, that's Seth, man. I know him as a drummer, of course. For many years I knew him, but I didn't know he can sing. So, he joined the band really easily because we were all friends, and the whole band, it was always about having a band being friends, And George joined also really, really early, but I left the US after a couple of years, and I moved to Poland. And I was pretty sure, because back in the days there was no like Skype and internet and things like that. So a phone call was quite expensive, and I was pretty sure, okay, George is going to be too busy. So living in Poland, I was of course friends with Nergal. So I said, look, do you want to do his vocal parts? So Nergal joined, actually, and I was so happy that I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure George, will not have the time to do it anyway, and yeah, why don't you do it? And then he was like, okay, I can do it, and then of course he got sick. And the funny part is I met George later and said, listen, I'm working on new songs. Are you going to do guest vocals or something, like for one track or something? And he's like, man, I thought I'm singing. Why the fuck did Nergal end up on the album? He thought, and I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, oh man, I thought you're not going to do it. You're so busy with Cannibal. And he's like, hell no, man. I thought, this is a band out of friends. And that is how these guys came together. And Hero, I knew, of course, for many years because I used to work for Vader. So he was my number one choice because he's the only guitar player, at least I knew here in Europe, who can play from Malmsteen to the most brutal death metal. Because as you can hear, there's a lot of classical heavy metal and different power metal influences, and of course I needed a guitar player who can pretty much do everything, and not only the extreme metal parts. So that is how the band came together,
Yeah.
And for the guitar solos, we recruited David Schenker from Manowar because he's so just incredibly fast, and he does all this crazy Malmsteen kind of style thing. And once, we just had musical differences and things, and Victor just left Rage, so, and he lived only 2 hours from my studio here, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in touch with him, and, just ask him, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna do it. And Gene was recommended to us by Steve DiGiorgio, back in the days when we were in Tampa, because we were looking for a bass player which never played metal before and which has like a different approach. Of course, a great bass player, but we didn't want a typical bass player from metal who just plays with a plectrum, or something, because we were like, he needs to play with fingers, or at least he needs to have different sound sources or slap, or we wanted some crazy guy. And Steve DiGiorgio said, man, I know this guy, he's fucking crazy what he's doing, and I'm anyway too busy to do it, but he gave us his address, and that is how Gene got in the band. And
that's really awesome. It seems like it was a very like organic experience. This was like almost kind of like the tale of just metal friends. It seems like it was very natural. Mm-hmm. It's not like you guys are like the death metal Spice Girls where you were a band that was just put together.
No. We also hang out privately, especially, even our producer, Andy LaRocque, and we've been friends for many years now, and he became our mentor, and I would work with nobody else, and not because, of course, there's really capable producers out there, Devin Townsend and all these big names in death metal or in metal period, as metal producers, but we are friends, and for me it's much more important to work with somebody I trust and somebody who knows what I want, and not only, okay, I'm gonna make you guys sound awesome. Of course, there's many guys who can do it, but it's more important to really know when to push us to the limit of doing it better, and when to just, man, the sun is shining, I don't want to work, let's just go out and drink beer,
Yeah.
So
well, you kind of led me into the next question, because working with Andy LaRocque, I mean, like, being that he works with, King Diamond and so many other very phenomenal and reputable artists, like, I'd imagine, I've always said that a producer is just as essential as any member of the band, and when I listen to, like, Serenade of Hate or Menace to God or, Rise of the Antichrist, I just hear Andy LaRocque's, like, real touch on it. So working with him, it almost feels like he's a member of Voodoo Gods, right?
Yes, definitely. I always say, everybody's asking me, that question actually, what you just asked. And I say, like, Andy LaRocque is actually part of Voodoo Gods.
Yeah, that's awesome. And he maybe brings something different to the table as well, right?
No, what he does is Andy LaRocque brings the not typical metal, just metal production to the table. That is really important because, my studio is I have a lot of analog things, and I didn't want to, just use plugins and reamp the guitars and do too many things like that. I just wanted to keep it really, really old school. The old school guitar sound and tone, especially. The tone was really important. And Andy LaRocque brings that, it's just perfect. It's just perfect to do it, for us. And, it's perfect. That's just, he understands how we want to sound. And quite honestly, the production could even be like a traditional heavy metal production or almost a rock production, from the sound,
Yeah.
And it was important to not have somebody who's going to be, you guys have to sound like Vader or like The Last Cannibal, or, we do not want to sound like that. It was really, really, really important to have just the traditional sound of the instrument,
Yeah, I've always said that like Voodoo Gods and like I felt like a phenomenal tour would be like you guys and like Death Clock or something like that, because I really see like the brotherhood of aggressive music into this album. And I'd imagine for you working with many different musicians and stuff like that, that almost has to teach you new things as an artist as well, right? To apply yourself.
It does, most definitely it does. And of course, these days you have like YouTube, you have like so many influences you can just watch online, So I think I don't know. I think it's a question. Every musician has like a individual opinion about it, because for me, I do not get more influences by now. Everything I soaked up as a child and as a growing up, influenced me to a certain point of sound and view I have, where I don't even want to, not learn. Probably learning is always good, but like, develop, or evolve more,
Yeah.
And there's just, look, I'm like a dinosaur anyway, because I noticed, I was laughing last time, I was hanging out with some friends, and we were like, what are we going to listen? I do not know if you would ask me some band which just popped up 1 or 2 years ago, I wouldn't fucking know it. I promise you I wouldn't. And it's not because I don't respect them or I don't, it's just because I'm so stuck in the 90s, and you can hear it on Voodoo Gods, because there's just so many albums I enjoy listening to. And since I'm happy with those albums, I don't even go out to get new ones. Of course, I buy new ones because I always try to support the music scene as good as possible. But I have albums which are still sealed, and I bought them 6-7 years ago. I never heard them. I bought them because it's friends of mine or the band is great, but I never heard them because it's music for me is something emotional, and I never, I don't have the mood to even like, okay, let's see what these guys did, No, because in that moment I want to listen to Death, or I want to listen to Morbid Angel, or Stratovarius, or Halloween, or whatever, So, but I can only speak for myself, that question you probably have to ask the guys.
Yeah, of course. And I'd imagine, like, with listening to this album, like, and, being on how organic that the songwriting process came, was there any preconceived idea on the making of this album, or was the stuff, like, almost kind of, like, improvised in a way, and everything was kind of like a happy accident?
No. I constantly write new songs. Well, now I'm stuck here in the studio, and already I have 12 new songs. Instead of recording them next year, we were like, I just spoke to the guys a couple of weeks ago, and we were like, okay, what's the situation with Voodoo Gods now? and we were like, okay, we're not gonna just sit home and wait for a better time. So I was like, hey, what do you guys, what do you think about I just start recording drums, and you guys will do your thing, and we just start the new album. Even the other one isn't out, but I said, like, I have 10 songs ready. I have actually 12 songs ready, but the other two are cover versions, which also, if you heard the Necrophobic Before the Dawn version, takes a lot of time, for me at least, to arrange and to give it the Voodoo Gods treat, let's say. And I think I have constantly music in my ear, and the guys are just so professional that they just pick it up and they understand exactly what I want. So we don't need even to improvise, because it's just logic for them to express it the way I see it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
To express it musical wise, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed talking with you. Is there just anything with Voodoo Gods that you would like to promote? The Divinity of Blood is scheduled to come out May 15th. Is there just anything that you would like? Would there ever be like a great like live performance of this ever? Like if everybody's schedule clears up, could we maybe get like you guys and like Metal Allegiance or something like that to do like a show together?
You know, it's funny you mention it, because before the Corona happened, that was actually under the wraps, but now I can, of course, speak about it. We had 6. We never played in Europe. We played in South America already, but that was mostly just with one singer. And we had actually already 6 shows here scheduled, and we had to cancel it. And the funny thing is, the first European show we wanted to play here in Germany, and we will still play it, and we will record it even on DVD. So you guys should. I don't know when it's going to happen now, because we just postponed everything for late autumn, but that will definitely happen. So there will be some live recording stuff released, and hopefully, you know, also that we're going to play some more shows or some festivals. We do not know that how it's going to happen, but we just signed a deal with a booking agency, and yeah, we take it from there, you know. So you will definitely see Voodoo Gods live. I'm not sure in the States, but definitely on the big festivals here in Europe, you will see us in the next 2 years. That is definitely sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We are here with Voodoo Gods, the Divinity of Blood, out May 15th. Be sure to pick it up then when supplies last forever. We'll see you next time on Heavy New York.